everyone, and welcome to iCharging's first event ever, which would lead us to great discoveries in the world of electric mobility. My name is Cindy Barado, and I'll be your host. Let me tell you before we get started, you can ask any questions on Slido. All you need to do is enter passcode iCharging. And to start off this session, we have a keynote from Chairman Alberto Barbosa. Hello, Alberto. It's great to have you here.
Hello, Cindy. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
It's great to be here, and I've noticed this scenery has the city of Porto in it. Why is that?
Because we live and we work in Porto. Porto is a wonderful town. I invite all of you to visit us as soon as possible.
So start by telling me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the chairman of eCharging, and I have a lifetime experience in the fields of energy and communications and control systems. Namely, I had the opportunity and the privilege to work with Pedro Silva, our current CEO, some 10 years ago, developing one of the first worldwide activities in EV charging.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what is iCharging all about? What is this company about, and what does it bring to the market?
Well, we thought it was time to have a breakthrough innovations in this area of the battery chargers for electrical vehicles. So we have decided to develop a brand new range of electrical vehicle chargers that will address not only today's problems, but the problems and the features needed in the foreseeable future. We believe that the solutions we have developed will be a breakthrough in the landscape of electrical vehicle chargers.
Great. And I also heard that within the team, people already knew each other, and they're also familiar faces to your clients. Is that it?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Some of you will know some of the people that will talk to you today. We have a young yet very experienced group of people who have been able, during these very difficult times that we go through, to develop on time and on cost this beautiful project that we are bringing to you today. They are the really heroes of this story, so Cindy, you will talk to them.
So it's amazing to see that not only what you are bringing to clients and customers will make their life easier, but you also worry about the planet and making it greener. Is that it?
Yes, exactly. We believe that EVs are a key component of the greener future, and we definitely want to be a part of that story.
Thank you so much, Alberto. I think it's time for us to maybe speak to your partner in crime. If everybody's curious, let's talk to our CEO, Pedro Silva, who will tell us more about this project. So many of our guests probably know him as well as the team, but they're not familiar with iCharging. So to learn a little bit more about what this new company really is, I have Pedro Silva here with me. Hi, Pedro. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Cindy. Thank you for coming.
It's so great to have you here. So maybe I would start by asking you, how did this start?
Well, we created this company last year in 2019 because we believe that we can bring some advances and some new perspectives to the charging technology of electric vehicles. So we started the company a year ago. We were able to gather a group of very good colleagues. Some of them were with experience in the sector. I think you will recognize some faces.
What can you tell us about your offices?
Well, we have very nice offices. They are located inside the city of Porto, and we have a very good and relaxing environment. Perfect for what we do there.
And inspirational too, I guess.
Well, I hope so, and I hope you have a chance to see during this session. And of course, you are invited to go whenever you want.
And our guests as well.
Of course.
So what's the concept and technology behind iCharging?
Well, iCharging was born with the desire to do different things in the world of EV charging. First, we looked at DC charging. What can we do to evolve DC charging compared to what exists in the market today? And we identified two main groups of challenges for DC charging. One is, of course, the technological evolution. new standards, new increased power, new vehicles coming to the market, different use cases. All that is related with technology, which is more or less normal in a young sector like this is. But I think the other challenges are connected to growth. How can we make EV charging grow and accompanying the growth of electric mobility as a whole, given the big projections that there is from every source today that foresee a big growth in the future for electric mobility in the years to come? This brings several challenges with it. The growth brings several challenges. Of course, the investment optimization, there is huge investment to be made. How can we optimize this investment? Operation efficiency, how can we operate more efficiently the infrastructure that is there to serve the charging of electric vehicles? How can we deal with the constraints of the electrical grid, because we cannot take all the power we want, any place, any time, whenever we want, so we have to take in account the grid, the capability. We need the infrastructure to be easy to use, user-friendly, and make that the chargers are friendly also for the user. We need to have infrastructure that is flexible for different use cases. Today we don't have only personal passenger EVs, we have professional use, we have transport of people, transport of goods, all that is use cases bring. And so we want to bring infrastructure that is flexible for all these applications. And we even looked at how it integrates in the landscape. We want to have a charger that is nice and that fits well in urban environments and not an ugly thing there, which is not what we want, of course.
Exactly.
So we looked at DC charging with these topics in mind.
And it seems like another challenge is that all electrical vehicles have a different battery voltage.
Yes, it's true, Cindy. In the last years, there was a big evolution. Electric vehicles are using different voltages now. You have many different vehicles in the market, even heavy-duty vehicles like buses, which are using different voltage. So we believe that DC chargers today should be able to charge any vehicle with any voltage. And so all our chargers are able to charge between 150 and 1,000 volts. This is good for any vehicle in the market today, even heavy vehicles.
So power is important.
Power is important. It's important because also the power has been increasing in the last years. Today, for example, for light-duty vehicles, we can use 350 kilowatts to charge, which is 7 times what we used 3 or 4 years ago, up to 50 kilowatts. So we want to build chargers that can have any power that is today or in the future, and the only limitation is the current capacity of the charging cable.
What about the flexibility?
Well, also the flexibility for us means that we need to be able to make chargers with any number of outputs. And each of these outputs should be able to deliver any power, any current that is possible, with any charging standard, and all this in any combination. So all the chargers you find in the market today, they have a certain number of combinations that you can have.
So like building blocks?
Yeah, so to achieve this, we designed our chargers based on building blocks. These building blocks apply to the power conversion, to the controls and to the software, even to the physical, mechanical blocks. So it's like building different variations always with the same blocks.
And what are the power of the blocks?
Today we are presenting power between 50 kilowatt and 600 kilowatt. And we can build more in the future, of course, if needed. But the idea is, in theory, to be limitless.
And the decoupling?
Well, the decoupling is a concept we were talking about in the backstage. We made a decoupling between power and current. So this allows us to build an installation with any power we want. We can go up to megawatt range, doesn't matter. any power we want to build this installation. And then we have outputs that are charging cars. And each of these outputs has a certain current carrying capacity and is using a certain standard to charge the car. That's basically the concept.
So altogether, it's more of a system than a sum.
Yes, because we can look at a charging area where you have several chargers, not as a sum of chargers that you manage, but as a system that you manage. It's a completely different approach. And with this we can achieve some of the topics I mentioned before about investment optimization, operation efficiency, and all that. We will show you during this session. Both chargers and systems are scalable.
What about the integration of energies?
Well, it also facilitates that, because by looking at a system with different outputs charging different cars, we have a management system of all this. And with this we can allocate different input sources, like not only the electrical grid, but local generation, renewable preferably, local energy storage, whatever, because we have a central management of the system and we can integrate it much more easily.
And what's the main principle behind your technology?
Well, all this I described is achieved with a principle we call dynamic allocation. We patented it and we even give it a name. It's Dynamic Blue, the registered trademark. And this dynamic allocation is the principle of allocating a certain power conversion capacity to a certain output, but doing this dynamically, so it can be changed during the process.
So what happens if my car only has 50 kilowatts, but the supplier has more than that?
Well, up to now, what happens is that you go to a charger that is, for example, 150 or 300 or 350 kilowatt, doesn't matter, and it will be allocated to you. Maybe if it has two outputs, sometimes it will give you 150 and reserve 150 for the other, but you are still using 150 kilowatt capacity, but you only need 50. So with our concept, all the idle capacity remains free for another vehicle that comes. So if you go with your 50 kilowatt car to a charger by charging and you only want to use 50, you'll get 50. All the rest that is there remains available for another EV that comes.
Okay, but if you park your car next to mine and charge at the same time, will that slow down my charging? Will I have to wait an additional minutes?
No, contrary to some solutions that are there also, no. What will happen is that I will take the available power conversion capacity that is there, and instead of waiting for you to finish, which happens today a lot, I don't have to wait. I will take the available capacity that is there, and when your power starts to decrease, I start to get more power. So in the end, I don't harm you and I benefit.
So simultaneous and sequential chargings are allowed?
Yes, and even the two combined, as I described. It's easy to do sequential charging of different outputs, not only two. Sequential is of course possible, and this combination of the two we will show you during this session. That is a big advantage, and this is a new concept. That's why we patented it.
So in the end, it's about optimization, is that it?
Yes, it's true. It's about optimizing the investment and utilization factor.
And there was a lot of thought that also went into usability.
Yes, we took a deep look into that topic, user experience. So we developed a user interface that you will see that is very attractive and very easy to use and very intuitive, and that allows to add some useful content. We looked at cable management, how people manage big cables and heavy cables, how you pick up and return the connector, all these details were looked at, how you interface with the charger with your personal mobile app or your tablet or whatever. Some of these solutions are really innovative. Some of them even were applied for patents.
Thank you so much, Pedro, for those valuable insights. But I know that now it's time for a surprise. The star of the show.
Yes, it's true. Let's look at it.
Wow, that looks amazing. And now that we've seen the product, Isabel Lima, what can you tell us about it?
Hi Cindy. Today, during this session, we will go into Blueberry's world with more detail. I hope at the end you will be as much amazed as we are. Today, you will get to know the hard work of iCharging team through last year in developing in this unique solution.
So how did you come up with the name and the logo?
Well, the challenge was made internally to all the teams to get a name that meant environment, electric mobility, the blue from iCharging, ecological and vitality. And Blueberry was the perfect name to bring these all concepts together. And then we add perfection and sustainability with round shapes in its logo, and that's how it came up. iCharging is only at the beginning, but all of us in iCharging have years of experience. And this time we wanted to bring something new to the market, something that the market has not seen. That's why we developed this machine and this solution. Blueberry is a new concept of charging. Its technology, Dynamic Blue, brings a disruptive solution for needs that didn't have answers until today.
And what is the power range?
The power range goes from 50 kilowatt to 600 kilowatt.
So
in the same solution.
Okay, so what do you mean by the same solution?
The same solution means that you have a compact kiosk with 50 kilowatt, and then by adding power modules, you can reach high power with 600 kilowatts. It's small, yet it's full of power.
Such a modern and appealing look, but what's inside the shell?
Inside the shell, it's Dynamic Blue that transforms the energy that comes from the grid, from the electric grid, or local generation or storage, and then establish a matrix of energy conversion and deliver it to a defined number of outputs. At the end, the question will be, how many blueberries do you need?
What about the design?
Well, the design is unique. Many studies were made to have a unique, iconic design to this equipment, and I think we got it.
Something, speaking of unique, is also the cable management system. Would you like to tell me about it?
Yes, that is an innovation, one more innovation, that is patent pending, okay? And it's really good because you can take the connector and just make a smooth movement, and the equipment will give you the length of cable that you need. And at the end, when you finish your session and you put the connector in the support, the system will retract easy by itself. You don't need to do any effort.
So holding the cable as well is quite simple.
Yes, and is also something new because we follow the natural movement of putting the cable in the place. It's an innovation. Also an innovation, it's something like you can talk to the equipment and he will answer to you.
Oh, okay, so he has a voice.
Yes, it has an audio integrated system.
And also speaking about the design, and it's so smooth on the outside. I don't see any grids there. Where did you put them?
No, it's hidden. You can listen, it's breathing, but you cannot see it. It's also something that was carefully designed to, you don't see the grids, of course.
Something else that is very attractive to the eye is the large display.
Yes, the Blueberry has a 32 inches touchscreen, and it has mainly two areas where you can see the charging information or maintenance information in the bottom, and up you can see multimedia, any multimedia content. It can be video, images, wherever you need for your business.
Isabel, this sounds so interesting. I think I want to learn a little bit more about that screen. So to talk about display and interface, let's call out Paulo. Hello, Paulo. Thank you for joining us. I'm told that you're the one that is going to tell us everything about user experience.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you. The Blueberry was designed to be simple and intuitive. The user interface for the EV drivers are fresh and flexible. The EV drivers can use the mobile app or the local touchscreen display to interact with the Blueberry. On the other hand, the maintenance team can also use the local display or the web interface in a laptop, mobile phone or tablet for maintenance and configuration. The Blueberry has a touchscreen display that improves the user experience.
Speaking about the touchscreen display, it's also used for something else. So it's used for advertising as well, and you could customize it. Is that correct?
Yes. The Blueberry can be configured to be used for multimedia content for advertisement and information. This multimedia content will be used in full screen mode if no one is operating the Blueberry, or on the top of the screen if someone is operating the Blueberry. This multimedia content can be configured locally or remotely, and can be configured for the mobile operator can choose what multimedia content will be best for each day of a week.
So it has a schedule?
Yes, a schedule to configure all the week, all the multimedia files that will pass for the week.
So for me as a user, what are the authentication and payment methods like?
Okay, the Blueberry supports three different types of authentication. One is the commonly used, that is RFID. So if you have a contract with an operator, you will have a RFID card that you can use to authenticate. The other one is using the mobile app. The mobile app can have different virtual cards for different operators and use it to authenticate in a Blueberry. The other authentication method is as a guest. If you don't have any kind of contract with any operator, you can go to the Blueberry, enter as a guest, and choose a PIN for authentication, and choose a payment method. And we support different kind of payment methods. One of them is credit, debit card. The other is any kind of contactless system like Google Pay, Apple Pay, or MBWay. After choose the payment method, you can change the charging settings and start charging.
Okay, so now that we know about authentication and payment, how do I actually charge my vehicle?
The charging process in Blueberry is very simple and easy. So you only need to go to the Blueberry, authenticate using one of the authentication methods available, choose one of the outputs available. If you want, you can change some settings and start charging. Of course, can be simple because if you plug first the cable in the vehicle, you go to the Blueberry and you go directly to the charging settings. You can change charging settings or you can start. If you don't do anything, the charging will start automatically without any interaction between the user and the Blueberry.
Is authentication 100% required?
No. The Blueberry has already implemented the standard IEC 15118 plug and charge. And with that, if the vehicle supports it and the operator also supports it, the user only needs to plug the cable to the car and that's it. The car starts charging.
So Paulo, it seems like a great thing about Blueberry is that I don't have to pay that much attention to my physical card. I'm always forgetful and losing everything because I have a virtual card on the mobile app. Is that correct?
Yes. One of the main features of the Blueberry is the mobile app. With the mobile app, we can manage virtual cards. We can add virtual cards using Blueberry display or an NFC from a mobile phone or manually. And of course, you can delete some virtual cards and set one as a default. With the mobile app, you can also start charging your vehicle. If you go to some place where you have Blueberry chargers, you will see in your mobile app the Blueberries that are nearby. You can choose one of them, choose one of the available outputs and start charging. And you can also change some charging settings in the same way that you have done in a local display. And and of course, you can also receive notification messages from the mobile app.
Okay, so I could run away to a meeting and leave my car there for a few hours or so, and it will let me know when my car is fully charged. Is that it?
Yes. Suppose that you configure a charging setting to fill your battery till 90% of state of charge. If the battery reached the 90%, you will receive a message. And if you click on the message, you'll see the charging details. You'll see all the information that you have for that charging, like power, energy, amounts to pay, and also a chart that you have with the power that you are using for the state of for each state of charge.
Mm-hmm. So how easy is it to install the equipment and get everything up and running?
Yes, it's very easy because we develop a tool, it's a web interface tool that you can use to help the installation. So after you install a Blueberry, you open the tool and you have a set of configuration parameters that you can change. After change the configurations, you will run a script, a wizard, to test the equipment to verify that everything is work as expected. In the end of these tests, is generated a report, and that report can send to iCharging for asset management.
Mm-hmm. And is there a commissioning process?
Yes, the commissioning process is to validate that everything is working, and after that commissioning, you generate the report, as I said.
Mm-hmm. So what about maintenance?
About the maintenance, the maintenance team can go to a Blueberry charger and use a special RFID card or a special virtual card to have an authentication, and this kind of authentication have available a set of screens to see what's happened in the Blueberry chargers. You will see information of the status of internal components. You will see the runtime data such as temperature, energy, power, voltage, and we'll see also the software versions that are installed, the firmware versions, serial numbers, and you have access to a system report and also event log to see if everything is okay. If you have some problems, you will see a red light that you have a problem and you need to fix it.
Speaking of problems, I have a problem. See, I don't know what these 4 letters mean, OCPP, so you're going to tell me about it.
Of course, OCPP is the protocol that are using to the communication between the chargers and the central systems. The Blueberry has implemented OCPP 1.6, JSON and SOAP with security profiles. The version 2.0 is under development and will be available in the beginning of next year. We use for that communication, we can use local Ethernet or a 3G, 4G network with an APN, VPN, or an internet connection with security of the OCPP.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of security, it seems like there's so many details and so much data that you're dealing with. What is iCharging doing in concerns of cybersecurity?
One of the requirements that we have in the beginning of this development was the security. So we want to develop a product that is secure. Taking into account this, we have an assessment that gets all the standards that are applicable for this kind of products. We identify the standards, we identify also the points that we need to be compliant with, and we have a list of requirements that we need to implement in our product, in Blueberry. In the end, the Blueberry will be tested by an external entity and will verify that all the requirements are fulfilled by the Blueberry. This external entity will be do also the penetration tests, that a set of tests that will verify that the Blueberry is secure.
Mm-hmm. Paulo, thank you so much for this valuable information. But next, I want to speak about the several different models, and for that, I'll have Isabel Lima out here again. Now it's time to dive deeper into the Blueberry world. Isabel, what can you tell us about the 3 different models?
Okay, so we have the Blueberry. It's a compact solution with 50 kilowatts. You can have one or two outputs with CCS or CHAdeMO standards, whatever you need. And then we have the Blueberry Plus. Okay, this one goes from 100 kilowatts to 600 kilowatts with the same kiosk, and then you have the several power banks. And then specific design for fleet charging, we have the Blueberry Cluster, which has the same power, 100 to 600 kilowatts, and can have up to 4 outputs.
What about new features?
We have a new feature that is very important for the market, especially for fleet charging, that is the sequential and simultaneous charging.
So does this reduce the time of charging?
Yes, because you charge the second vehicle before the first one stops its charging. So at the end, you will have less time of charging for all the vehicles.
Mm-hmm. And this also saves on costs?
Yes, because you are getting the use of all the power installed.
Mm-hmm. And so does that mean that the power that is not used by that vehicle can be used by others?
The others, exactly. It says.
Great, perfect. So now I think it's time for us to watch a video, is that correct?
Yes.
So we'll leave you with the video that explains exactly what we were just talking about, and you can see in detail. Pedro, so why iCharging and what makes Blueberry such a special product?
Cindy, I will answer you on this using the 9 I's of iCharging. The first I is investment optimization. Suppose you have a charging area where you want to install 6 chargers able to deliver 300 kilowatts. So that's roughly 2 megawatts of power capacity installed. But then you have a grid connection, say 1 megawatt. The traditional solution makes a load management, avoiding that when several chargers are used at the same time, you do not exceed 1 megawatt in the input. With the Blueberry, you can install 1 megawatt of power capacity and allocate it. In the end, you get a better result because of this simultaneous and sequential charging, but half the investment. The second I is infrastructure efficiency. You are using, whenever possible, the power that you have available. You never have idle power that could be used to charge a car and you're not using it. The third I is integration with green energy. You can add local generation, storage, grid, whatever you want, and integrate that in your charging plaza. The fourth I is intelligent charging. As we showed you, If you have an EV that needs a certain power to charge, you will give it exactly that power to charge. Not more, not less, only the power that it needs. All the rest is freed for another vehicle or other vehicles. Another I is infinite scalability. As we showed, we can build charging area with as many outputs you want, with the power that you want. The system is always scalable. Another I is the improved interface. I think you saw that the interface that Blueberry provides, or the several interfaces that Blueberry provides, are a step away from anything else you have. You can even use it to run publicity, advertisement, or contents, whatever you want. It's an intuitive user experience. Everything is explained. You know what you have to do very easily just looking at the charger. Innovative design. I think the Blueberry fits well in different environments because I think it has a nice design. We even made the air inlet and outlet disguised, so it's not evident that you have these grills and all that. And the last I is the intensive data collection. The Blueberry collects a lot of data on the sessions, on its condition, much more than what is usual in other chargers. We measure everything, we log everything, we measure temperatures, pressure differences, humidity in different points of the equipment. We have everything that is happening with the power section, with the cables, with everything. All this intensive data collection will be added value for maintenance, allowing you to do advanced maintenance and know a lot more on the charger and on the usage of the charger.
Pedro, so in fact these 9 I's are 9 advantages, and what we need to know next is how and when can we place our order, and that's what we're going to find out next. So Pedro, what are the next steps and what does the future hold for Blueberry?
The next steps is to terminate the European certification. We are already testing and doing some tests to verify if the system is compliant with European regulation. All these tests are ongoing and we expect them to be finalized by the end of this year. If they are successful, the machine will be able to be sold in Europe with the current maximum of 250 amps and with a power of 200 kilowatts. Later, next year, at the beginning of next year, we will start the American certification, and also we'll take that opportunity to introduce liquid-cooled cables. The liquid-cooled cables will allow us to go up to 500 amps in current, and also the system can go up in power up to 600 kilowatts of power. The certification will take to the middle of the year, which means that from July, June onwards, we will be able to supply also the same systems to the American market. So in that date, we have both situations in Europe and both machines available in the United States as well as in Europe. At the same year, we also start the introduction of the enhancement system of the dynamic loop concept. This system will allow the machines to operate in a more efficient way in terms of power availability and power utilization, because it will allow the machine to interact dispensers and power units.
So if I want to see the product firsthand myself, is that a possibility?
Yes, of course, you can also have a digital look at our webpage that will be available from today onwards. But also we have machines in our facilities and we are happy to receive you there, and there you can interact with machines and see what the machines can do and how it can be benefit for your business and also for your users.
So for more information besides the website, where can we find you? How can we get in touch?
You can reach us from all the electronic possibilities, emails, phones, whatever you can use today. We are there. All this information are also available on our website. So if you want to get in touch, just dial or just write on Google page iCharging.pt, and you can reach us easily.
So I'm sure everybody has a lot of questions. And speaking of questions, we will be answering those questions that were asked today on Slido. And that's what we're going to do next. So next is our Q&A. We are approaching the end of today's event, and I'm here with the whole team who will finally be able to answer the questions that you asked on Slido. So let's start with the first question, which is, how does the advertising part work? Paulo.
So, like I said, the advertisement will show in full screen mode if no one is operating the charger. If someone is operating the chargers, the advertisement will be showing on the top of the screen. The Blueberry charger has a schedule that can be configured. So the operator can configure a set of videos or photos that will be passed during the day for the 7 days of a week.
Great. Second question is, which charging standards are supported?
Let me answer that one.
Pedro?
We are supporting the CCS standard, the last version of the 15118, and the Shadow Mode 2.0 standard. As we showed you, in any combination, you can have one of each, two of the same, one only, as you wish.
Okay. Our next question is, regarding the app, will it be possible to give our data to another app?
I can answer. So our app can be customized for some clients if they want. So if they don't have any mobile app, we can customize for that customer. But if they already have their own mobile app, we can supply our data for the customer to use in their mobile phone, mobile app.
Okay. And the next question is, will the screen be able to be customized?
I can answer also. So this is a good question because we have a lot of functionalities in the display. We have authentication methods. We have information that will be shown on the display. And this information is customized. It's configurable. So for instance, if some customers don't want to have the guest authorization, so we can disable, can configure the display to don't show this kind of information to the end user.
Okay, thank you so much, Paulo. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer all of your questions today. If we didn't reply to your question, no worries. Someone will get in touch with you within the next few days. Until then, you could keep those questions coming, and you could check out the website, give them a call, send them an email, and keep those questions coming. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the near future. And until then, keep an eye on iCharging.